And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and once again, welcome to a spectacular Saturday afternoon of world-class action. 12 races on the card here today. Track announcer Pete Aiello, joined by handicapper extraordinaire Ron Nicoletti. And Ron, we had some people beat the expert yesterday, but the list wasn't quite as long as I would have thought.
No.
I would have made a bet on the over, and I would have lost.
You would have lost on the over, but the guys did a good job. They had 5 wins yesterday, beating me out, and so it's a fun player. And you see the 3 winners right there.
Yeah, and one of those winners is actually a Facebook buddy of mine and took a terrible beat in the late pick 5 yesterday. So I don't know what he's more happy about, beating the expert or losing the photo in the finale.
Well, congratulations to Rafael Calderon, Gregory Shear, and Piero Botte. They beat the expert. Not only did they get that great polo shirt, they can come up here and have bragging rights and give it to me.
I'd like to see that. That's
Yeah.
must-see TV. Speaking of must-see TV, we have 12 races to get to on the Saturday program this afternoon. So let's delve right into the racing action and the wagering menu. The first race of the afternoon does offer you the Super High Five. You do have a carryover today of $2,282. It also starts the early pick 5. Ron, I know you have an early pick 5.
Yeah, we're going to show you that in a minute, just as we go through this. And, you know, today, Pete, with that the 12-race card, we've got 3 pick 4s this afternoon. We get that middle pick 4 is a 50-cent wager, so we got early, middle, and late pick 4s, and always a very popular bet. Your Rainbow Six getting up there.
Yeah, Rainbow Six pool's now over $150,000. It starts in race number 7 with the 12-race format. And today's Rainbow Six, as always, a 20-cent play.
Yeah, we end the day with the final pick 5 of the afternoon, so lots of things to bet and fun. Of course, we'll have action throughout the afternoon, and if you're here, you can simulcast and, of course, bet the Saratoga during the afternoon, so lots of action here at Gulfstream Park. And as you mentioned, this first race, 5 furlongs on the turf. I want to show you my early pick 5 ticket here, and I went 2 deep here, 2, 3, 3, and 2. $36 ticket, and got to get out of this first leg here, and I just thought I had the logical 2 horses up there with Animal Quiet and Homeboy Caden.
Yeah, they do look like the top pair in here. The bettors have this as a foregone conclusion in the very early stages of wagering, with Animal Quiet taking all the play. Animal Quiet debuted on turf last time out, finished 3rd as the betting favorite. The winner that day was pretty impressive, though, and this horse just continues to improve, drops in class for the money run.
Yeah, and I just thought he was the logical choice. He got beaten only in that 1 1/4 lengths, and then 2 Homeboy Caden is another dropping into the maiden claiming ranks, trying to turf with blinkers added. He went up, he dueled for the lead, and faded against maiden special weight competition on the dirt. He's a son of Into Mischief, so you think he'd be able to handle that surface switch.
Well, not only did he duel for the lead, he dueled for the lead and was put away by the most talked about 2-year-old on the grounds right now in 3 rules. So it's one thing to duel for the lead and get put away. It's another to be put away by a horse who's already won a stake and is expected to be heavily favored in his Sire Stakes debut.
You know, the other horse that I picked in here, the number 6, Willy Nilly, who I did not put on my ticket. I want to go back and show you this horse's performance last time out, Pete. And you'll see him here come out of the gate. You actually mentioned that he just rocketed out of the gate in your call. He goes up and he just grabs the lead like immediately. Then they take him back. And we're going to switch now to turn home. He's there, and he just doesn't get any room to run. He gets beat 4 lengths against special weight competition going 5 furlongs. Just bogged down in there. And he broke so sharply. I don't know why they didn't go on with him. And then finally, he gets done here. He's green through the stretch. You see the jock hitting him. It's Alvaro Donis there going to Tyler Gaffleone this afternoon. So I think with that start and maybe one under the belt, he broke sharply in there. I think this horse can improve.
Yeah, the rider switch certainly will help Willy Nilly's chances, as will the fact that it's his 2nd start over the turf and 3rd start overall. He did progress nicely, even though he faded in the late stages of that race. It was still a big improvement from his first start.
Yeah, and he was racing greenly through the stretch, so I'm just thinking maybe if there's any improvement. I mean, I didn't love him enough to put him on my early pick 5 ticket, but I just wanted to go back and show you that performance. And by the way, jockey change on the 1 horse near to Martin Ramirez.
Well, let's turn now to the second race and look at the first of 3 pick 4s offered today. Race 2 on the main track at 6.5 furlongs. We have claimers in for a $12,500 price tag. A field of 7 in here with no scratches or jockey changes. The betting favorite is a horse that is taking a career drop in class, number 5, Big Family.
Yeah, I didn't go with Big Family in here. I went with El Gran Gallego. This one is wheeling back at the same level and distance after dueling through some respectable early fractions. He got collared at the 16 pole. He finished 2nd. He's beaten 2 lengths. Victor Barboza Jr., Emissy El Hadamero, Ration is his his speed today, and that's the way I went. I think he's second choice on the morning line.
El Gran Gallego has improved leaps and bounds since the barn switch. That doesn't surprise me. Victor Barboza Jr. does good work day in and day out. Rider switch today back to Yamisa El Jaramillo, who was on board for the maiden win.
And I also used the number 6 in here, and that's Little Awesome, who's stretching out, stepping up, posting its second consecutive victory when holding on to defeat. 6,250 condition claimers going 3/4 of a mile. Bruno Tessori, Tyler Gaffalione. This is the only 3-time winner in the field, but I know you don't like this jump up.
Yeah, but man, go back and watch that last race on Little Awesome. You want to talk about a game racehorse? He would be the poster child for game racehorse last time. He's named Little Awesome for a reason. He's not very big, and Nevsky was on his outside and just completely overshadowed him. Quite literally, he was hard to spot inside, but he refused to yield when hooked and battled back to get the victory.
Well, one question. I mean, are you a fan of the horse I left off the ticket, Big Family?
No, I think that we should give some airtime to Big Family. He takes a huge drop in class here. This is a horse that was good enough to win last year on the turf at Saratoga against allowance horses. His best resume is on turf. Takes a huge drop in class here, and Gustavo Delgado goes to Marcos Meneses. That's not necessarily bad. It's unusual, however, as it's not in his top 2 as far as rider preferences.
Yeah, I did not use him on the ticket. I mean, that's your choice to go use him. As Pete mentioned, the first of 3 pick 4s on the afternoon. I closed it out with the 3 Cold Blood, who's cutting back to 6.5 after finishing third against those condition claims. Just a horse that I thought can suck up. I'm going with the tactical speed of number 4, El Gran Gallego, in that second race.
If Big Family runs his race, they're running for second money.
Right.
The question is, can he run his race? He has a 92 buyer while losing to Ready for Rye 2 dirt starts ago, and last time out when he was on the dirt, he was third and earned a 65. A little bit different scenario. 65 is not going to cut it. 92 wins by about 15 in this race.
Right.
We'll move now to the third race. Third race is on turf at 5 furlongs. Maiden claimers of the filly variety in for a claiming price of $12,500. Scratch the 2 Green Emerald and scratch the 11 My Anomaly. A field of 9 in here. Tricky race, no standouts to speak of.
Yeah, I went with the number 1, My Kind of Cat, who's shown the ability to rate off the pace, and I think this one sits at the trip behind the abundance of speed in this field. The trainer is Wesley Ward. I want to go back and show you his stat, and this is a stat on Wesley Ward over the last 5 years with maiden claiming sprinters on the turf. He's 17 for 74, so he wins at a 23% clip. He's in the money about half the time, 51%. Of course, it's going to be a $1.75 ROI, and I think this one is a pick because of the trip. I see a lot of speed in there, and I thought this one can just sit off it. Elvis Trujillo will be in the saddle today.
Wallflower had shown the ability to win races, or to be sitting on wins before. Finally got that elusive victory last time out. She was game in that race, Wallflower. She usually had a tendency of folding up shop inside the 16th pole, but My Kind of Cat couldn't reach her last time out. Horses that also merit consideration, well, they're the other horses on your ticket, I think, are the top 3 in here. The number 8, Hiram's Mistress, who's proven to be a bit of a head case. If she can mind her manners, she certainly has a chance.
Yeah, she was a trouble fort. She got bumped at the start, went behind My Kind of Cat 2 starts back, renews that rivalry. She finished second, as you mentioned, gets similar at the distance. She's another with the ability to carve out a trip just off that contested pace. I saw some speed in here. Number 9, Breezy Song, cutting back to 5 furlongs. Opened that 6-length lead last time out before weakening to finish 4th. Mark Cassie, Tyler Gaffalione in the saddle. This is one of the horses that I think with a kind of rating on the front end might be able to steal it.
Just having to hypothesize a little bit with Breezy Song. I don't think that's connections of Mark Cassie thought that Breezy Song could get 2 turns unless somebody picked her up at about the quarter pole. I don't think that was the move. I think the move was to try to get some air in her lungs, so when they did turn her back, now she can unleash that big close that she did 2 back. They're trying to get her that elusive first victory. She looks like she has a chance today.
Yeah, 8-1 on the morning line, so a way that you might want to go in that race. And that barn finally getting heated up and won a couple of races last week, 3 or 4 races last week.
Well, let's turn our attention now to the 4th race, optional claiming starter allowance event at 6 furlongs over the main track. We have a field of 8 in here. It should be noted that the number 8, Shere Khan, was in yesterday against much easier stock, but horse must be doing good. Signs on for this assignment.
Yeah, they put him in here today. I picked him yesterday right on top, but he was scratched out. Didn't use him today in this spot. And I went with the 5, Blings Express. Turned it back to one of his best distances. 28 races at the distance, 7 wins, 8 seconds, 3 thirds. He broke from the outside last time. That was post 10. He went went up and vied for the lead. He finished second against this level of competition, going 7/8. I mean, this horse, if you look under hard knocking campaigners, his face has got to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a couple of things to take note of. Valid Concept did some great work from the back. Look how fast they went. They went 22, kept the speed on to 44, 3/4 and 10 flat. That's moving at that level. Valid Concept was far back, closed to get the victory. Valid Concept then took a step up in class and ran very well. Finished a closing second just a few days ago. So Blings Express certainly appears to be in the right seat here, as number 6, Take Time to Pray, has some other speed to deal with, including It's Not Me. Take Time to Pray cost me pancakes with Acacia last time.
Oh, yeah. And Take Time to Pray moved to the Gilberto Zerpa Bon Vita Clay, makes his first start. He totally demolished that field of 6,250 open claimers back on May 21st. Edgar Zayas got his first win back from the injury yesterday. And this is one of the speeds, and I think he's a logical choice to be somewhere on a ticket that closes it out with the 3 running cat. I'm going to try these 10 optional claimers after posting his second consecutive victory versus those were 6,250 claimers. That was a wet track list that is good. Kerry Savage, Matthew Respole.
Interesting race here. Take Time to Pray is such a tricky horse because if you're not a sacrificial lamb, a lot of times he'll get brave up top. But he is the type of horse that if you hook him, he is perfectly all right to let you go. You know, he's not one of those horses that really fights on. If he's hooked, that's the end of him. But the question is, do you want to sacrifice yourself trying to hook him? Because he can boogie early.
Yeah, I mean, he's a logical choice. And, yeah, you know, I went with the 5 just on the way the horse likes the distance, and I just thought it was the logical one. But as you saw him, I picked 5 ticket, went 3 deep there.
Yeah, Blings Express certainly appears to have a setup if It's Not Me or somebody wants to try to hook Take Time to Pray. That's race 4. Let's look to the 5th now. Maiden claimers at the $12,000 or $12,500 level. We race on turf here at 5 furlongs. In race number 5, simply scratch the alternate. The 11, no hit, no run. Take note, the 4 cannot stop. Races with blinkers on here this afternoon. A lot of these horses going for their first victory. A horse that's improving nicely, though, is a horse is 7 of Jack, who made your ticket, but not on top.
Yeah, he's in second. Yeah, I went with the number 2. And how do we say this horse's name before I mess it up?
Guaycanagari.
Guaycanagari should be primed and ready to score after returning from the layoff to track the pace. He finished 3rd at this level and distance. Logical choice to be on the ticket. But you mentioned the 8-7 of Jack. He's certainly expected to show more in his 3rd career start. He rallied to finish 3rd at the distance against this very familiar competition. Victor Barboza Jr., Gerardo Corrales in the top. He's a gelded son of Tail of the Cat.
Interesting to me that Jaramillo doesn't take a return call on 7 of Jack. He doesn't ride the race. That's fascinating to me because this horse is actually improving nicely. He just didn't seem interested in his debut run. Showed some more interest last time.
And it's that time of the afternoon when I ask you about the number 5, Mud in Your Eye, listed as a gelding now. He's turning. He returned from an 8-month layoff. He broke slowly. He went up. He set the pace. He finished 3rd against 16 maidens, going a mile on the Tampa turf. I know you were telling us about the Tampa turf the other day. It was like a paved highway, or as you said, like this table.
Absolutely. So Mud in Your Eyes race kind of gets a little bit, doesn't look as good on paper because he did stalk the pace and then rallied to take the lead before 7 Mondays, and the eventual winner of that race ran by him in the late stretch. So he could improve off of that last race, but 5/8 on the turf. He'll need to find something that he hasn't found before, and that's 1-turn speed.
Yeah, 1-turn speed, and as you mentioned, I did not, when I handicapped, didn't know, we were talking about how the turf course was playing up there at Tampa Bay. 10-1 in the morning line, so it's a bit of a shot. But boy, that is one wide open race.
Yeah, even Awesome Trauma didn't get any airtime. You have to throw his last race out. It was on the main track. He lost to an odds-on winner in Express Jet. He gets back on the turf. His 2 turf races, at least his last 2, are pretty darn good at this trip and distance. So he's one to look out for. Tyler Gaffleone. He's just going to continue to win races.
Oh, yeah. Well, I forgot what it was. 13 in the last 4 days, 13 winners, 12 or 13 winners in the last 4 racing days. So that is amazing for Tyler Gaffleone. So you sort of got to put him on your ticket somewhere.
Yep. The 5th race is the start of the middle pick 4. Let's look now to race number 6 at 5.5 furlongs. In race number 6, we do have a couple of scratches here. Scratch the 6 Oxydata, scratch the 9 Pom Pom Power. It's a field of 8 in here. The morning line favorite, Starship Tammy, off of an impressive last race win.
Yeah, I have that horse in second. I did go with the number 8 Twinkling Time. He's shortening up to 5.5 furlongs after surrendering that late 3.5 length lead. He got beat a half length against Similar. That was going 7/8 of a mile. The trainer, Rohan Crichton, has Josie Gomez named on the Speedy Daughter Roman Ruler. Josie likes to run on the front end, so I think this horse is going to be on the lead, playing Catch Me If You Can.
Well, here's your trivia for today. The last time Twinkling Time got her picture taken, who was the rider?
Josie Gomez?
You're a winner.
See that? Very easy. That's the only thing I want.
And that's why he's the expert, ladies.
They beat me like a drum yesterday in the Beat the Expert, so at least I got this right.
Absolutely.
And the 5 Starship Tammy favored in 3 consecutive races, and a 5-length winner going 6 furlongs last time out is turning back to this distance here, trying to make it 2 in a row. 0 for 3 at 5.5 furlongs, if I'm correct, right? And I just, that seems weird to me that the horse, you know, just doesn't run well at 5.5 furlongs. Well, maybe it was the level of competition.
Well, she took forever to break her maiden, so a lot of those distance statistics are a little off in the sense that she was trying to break her maiden. She's a different racehorse since she broke her maiden. She's won 3 times since that maiden score, including 2 of her last 4. So she is the horse to beat in here. I like the idea of trying to beat her. Why not try to beat her with horses like the number 8 Twinkling Time or even the 4 Skippy Is Back, who beat her 2 starts ago?
Yeah, and I threw the 7 in Beals Wagon, hoping to show more at this shorter distance. Went up wide for lead, finished second behind Starship Tammy in their recent clash at 3/4 of a mile. You know, this horse is 8 to 1 or something on the morning line or something, and you know, ran okay last time out. And this is one of the selections that you might want to use on the rolling super high 5 ticket or something like that.
Race number 6 on the program starts another pick 3. We're going to take a brief timeout. Race number 7 and the Rainbow 6 right after this.
Hey everyone, I'm Acacia Courtney, and I want to tell you about a fun contest that we have going on. It's called Beat the Expert. Every Friday, if you're able to pick more winners than me or my co-host Ron Nicoletti, then you will have the chance to win a free polo shirt that says that you beat the expert. Go to facebook.com/GulfstreamPark to enter and use hashtag Beat the Expert to let us know that you're playing. Bring it on.
Back now with a preview of today's Rainbow 6, a 6-race sequence with a carryover pool of more than $155,000 here this afternoon. If you want a piece of that action, look no further than the expert to my left. That would be your right.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't remember there's another expert here or something like that. Let's show you my Rainbow 6 ticket. Yesterday was up near $200,000 bet into the pool. Today, 3 deep. You see in race number 9 today, and this is a bit of a guess on my part, that is Freedom March. I'm going to tell you why I like that horse. I'm actually going to show you its last performance. 4 deep in there. Had to put Weezer Gone Gray on my ticket at 15 to 1 and 2 in the last. We'll talk about those races as we go through. $43.20.
I think that would be a good baseline ticket, don't you? You're using it as a baseline because, you know, if you copy that ticket, with you playing it, you guarantee a carryover.
Well, that's the point with this. And people ask me this a lot. That ticket is up there for, you know, just to see what I'm thinking. But you're supposed to add or subtract and go the way you like. That's just like a starting point for when you're putting your ticket together. So we'll see how it goes. But race number 7, not an easy place to start.
I was just going to say, I appreciate the help on race number 7. Maidens at the $20,000 level. We have a couple of scratches. Scratch the 1 Diamond Law, the 10 Proud Venezuelan, and the 12 Famous Fact. The 11 Attack Zone gets in, so we have a field of 9 in this race. And there's a lot of different ways you could go in here. There's no clear-cut favorite on the morning line either. Morning line maker Jay Stone agrees with us. This is tough. 7-2, the morning line favorite.
Yeah, and I went with the horse. I don't know what he's done on the morning line. He's second choice to 4 Absolute Pinnacle. He's dropping to this level today. First starts in showing early tactical speed. He finished 4th. That was in a trio of $35,000 maiden turf races. That was from January to May. Peter Walder, MCL Hamio handling. But it's this colt's first start since May 5th, so there's some guesswork going on here.
Well, the ultimate equipment change was made since his last race. This is the first time he'll race as a gelding here today. Certainly something to keep in mind.
And the horse that is the morning line favorite, number 3, Grand Venezuelan, now in the Bruno Tesori barn. He's a gelded son of Gone Astray, drops to this 20 level and wears blinkers. Raced headstrong and finished 4th. Was beaten a length against 35 maidens. also back on May 19th. So the guesswork continues. Edgar Zayas, as we mentioned earlier, got his first win yesterday, will be in the saddle on number 3, Grand Venezuelan.
I think the riders are going to have a lot to say about this race. Not that they don't always have something to say about the outcome, but this will be a chess match because there's not a lot of horses who do their best work on dedicated on the lead, but by the same token, there's not a lot of horses in this race that come from well out of it either. So this is going to be a slowly run, controlled race where whoever gets the best trip will win it.
I got a first-time starter that I had some interest in here, and that's the 7 Blackjack Baby. He's a 3-year-old son of Lon Rowe, a New Zealand bred, out of the Unbridled Song mare, See Me Dance, debut for Steve Casares. Strong turf breeding on both sides of the family tree. Cornelio Velasquez will be in the saddle, so maybe a breeding play in here with the number 7 Blackjack Baby.
Certainly showing speed in the morning. It will be interesting to see if they are offensive-minded with this horse. As I just mentioned, there's not a lot of dedicated speed in here. This is one of those races, if you can string them out, they're not going to catch you. So we'll see how that plays out. Interesting, you did not use Patrick Joseph, who's no relation to Dave Joseph, the stage manager here at Gulfstream Park. But Patrick Joseph has put in some good runs. Each of his last 3 races resulted in an on-the-board finish, including a defeat last time out at Tampa when racing against the bias and racing wide. That move wasn't going to work. Matanzas and the eventual winner were in front of him. He passed them, and then the speed carried back up and carried Pat.
And you make a great point about the tickets here. This is a race where if you can and you got some singles later on, you go deep when you're putting your ticket together. I went and used the amount of horses because I try and keep my ticket at a reasonable rate. But here's where Handicapping the Rainbow Six comes in, where you go deeper in a race that has certainly more questions than answers.
Beautiful segue. Thank you for that. It was unscripted also as we turn to the 8th race, which is another race that has a lot more questions than it does answers. Claimers at the $6,250 level. They've not won 2. We have a pretty full field here this afternoon. Just one scratch of 10 Prestancia, so 11 to choose from. The morning line favorite 3-1 off of the maiden score. Do you take a maiden right back like unknown? I would probably say no. What do you say?
I say no too there. I got it on the ticket, but I went with the number 1 Lionel where he's dropping to this level today. Adding blinkers after showing speed and weakly late. That was in a series of sprints against tougher competition. Milt Wolfson, Apprentice Lane Leslie, inside post. I think this one goes.
Yeah, the shades go on, the inside post, has shown speed in the past, takes the drop-in class, goes with Lane Luzzy and the irons here this afternoon. Tried the boys last time out. All indications are that this horse is the one to catch and beat.
Yeah, and that's the way I saw it. And then I used the number 2 Lady Noor in second. Claimant Tag sliced in half, showed speed, got caught late. 6 consecutive sprints in which he finished second or third. Juan Rodriguez hopes Edgar Zayas can get this one, repair that also ran status. Yep. This one does not like to win.
That's nothing more to say. Thank you for that.
And Unknown, who, as you mentioned, stepping up to tussle with winners. He parlayed that inside trip into that maiden victory going 3/4. It is Tyler Gaffleone. It is Gustavo Delgado, and I would not be shocked if this horse put 2 together.
Want to give some airtime to the 8 High Rapid Lady, who makes her second start off the claim. Rider switch to apprentice jockey Carlos Hernandez. Her race 2 starts ago would not make her eligible for this race, but she was disqualified from it. Last time out, she cut back to 5.5. I think she wants more real estate than that. She should be in a forward roll early. She'll be a nice price also.
Yeah, and that's, she's done something someone else in the race has not done, and that's win, but was disqualified from that performance.
Let's turn our attention now to the 9th race, the start of the late pick 4 today on turf at 1 1/16. This race has a scratch of 12 Tiz Boa. The 11 remains in the event of one of our Saturday showers. But the field of 10 that is in the body of the race, there's a couple of horses in here that appear to have the more class and more resume than some of the other ones, including a horse that, Ronnie, you love here, number 10, Freedom March.
Yeah, I'm going to show you why. And this one, 10 Freedom March, is stretching out to 1 1/16. I thought this was a promising North American debut. We're going to go back and show it. It was on July 4th. And we're going to take it from the top of the stretch home. And this one, was making a move. And it's not this exciting move. It has to steady just a little bit here and everything. But I just thought, here's the reason I'm showing this race. There's the steady. This horse was running okay, but here's the reason. First race in a year. First race in North American. Marty Wolfson, I see a lot of upside in here. I thought this horse ran pretty good. Was the number 6 was the number 6 that afternoon. So I just thought I wanted to show that this horse was trying to make that winning move. Was wide coming in, had to steady a little bit, and I see the upside. I'm taking a little bit of a chance here. The Lasix was added, and I thought it was a solid 4th.
Absolutely. Definitely was a solid fourth. Definitely has the right to improve. Everything that you're saying makes complete sense. I guess that's the old adage, even a broken clock's right twice a day.
Yeah, and, a single, you got to be a little goofy to do that, and that's why I did it right in there, because you got to try and beat the number 7 in there, and that is Sunrise Bernstein, who should be primed and ready to shed the maiden tag. Returned from a layup, ran good. Ran second as the favorite at this level of distance. That was on the turf course listed as good. Kathy Ritvo, Luca Panici in the saddle. I mean, that's the one on paper to beat.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. The number 4 Nvidia goes back to the maiden special weight ranks. It's always a move I try to beat horses that are in good form with the racing for a tag. If they weren't good enough to win against horses in for a tag, why would you take a reduced price against maiden special weights? But I'm talking about winning. You're talking about being in the exotic.
Yeah, and this one came from well up the pace to finish second, was beating Oli Atlanta. As you mentioned, $35,000 maidens going a mile. I think this is one of the horses you use on your ticket here. Now, I can't say enough. I'm singling the 10 Freedom March. If I'm right, I'll be able to brag. But if you're putting your ticket together, you might want to go a little deeper there.
Yeah, I think we'll have to bust out the Beat the Expert shirt. You can beat yourself.
I can beat myself. It's a good way to look at it.
Let's go to the 10th race now, the start of the late pick 3. Maiden special weight variety, 2-year-olds going postward in here, and some horses that had disappointed in their debut runs, including the 3 Epic Drama, and a horse who's ended up being withdrawn, and number 5 Brave Rooster. A couple of interestingly bred horses as well in the 1 and 7. You, however, went with the 2, Inspired.
Inspired is the son of Proud Citizen and a half-brother to a stakes winner called Lightbringer, debuting for trainer Phil Gleaves. I just like the string of a solid morning workout showing, gets Lasix, gets Tyler Gaffleone, and I think this is where a horse can run well in here. Remember, Phil Gleaves had a first-time starter winner the other day, and maybe this is the right one in there. I think it's 6-1 in the morning line, so why not run well in there?
Yeah, and another guy that's been doing some great work with 2-year-olds. We talked earlier in the program about 3 rules. He competes from the barn of Jose Pinchin. Jose Pinchin has a horse in here who draws well in the debut, number 9, Always Dude.
Yeah, he's a son of First Dude debuting for Jose Pinchin. 6 local workouts showing in preparation for this assignment. Here's a stat. Jose Pinchin may not be on the top of everyone's lips when it comes to 2-year-old first-time starters, but I thought this was a pretty good stat. 2-year-old first-time starters in maiden special weight. He's 6 for 30. 20%, 63% in the money, $1.72 ROI. So I always thought this guy does a great job with 2-year-old first-time starters.
The statistics tell the story there. He does do a great job with first-time starters. We'll see if Always Dude can get the victory. One of the 2 horses that I have starred in my program based on the dam side of things are the 1 Apple Valley Road and the 7 Florida Cotton. The 1 makes your ticket here.
Yeah, this one, a full brother to Abercorn, finished second in both the affirmed and in reality divisions of the Florida Sire Stakes, is debuting for Jackson Better Farms. Mark Cassie, string of so workouts showing. I think you look at this horse in the post-parade to make your decision. Wasn't enamored with the workout pattern.
Neither was I, but the horse is a half to Argentine Tango. Argentine Tango went long on the grass. That might be what this horse wants to do.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out. But one of the other races on the card that are really wide open.
Well, we have to give the 11th race some airtime because I have to let Ronnie talk about Weezy Gone Gray or else I'm not going to get spoken to for the next couple of days. We'll turn our attention now to the 11th race, an entry-level allowance race for a $43,000 purse on turf at 7.5 furlongs. Now you're looking at the TV monitor going, wait a minute, why is Pete talking about Weezy Gone Gray? He's not even in Ronnie's selections. But I have it on good authority. If Weezy Gone Gray wins here this afternoon, Ron Nicoletti will purchase the horse following the race.
And, I give a long shout out each day. And, sometimes I put that long shout on top. Today, Weezy Gone Gray, I've gone to the well twice. I don't know about the 3rd time in here. But I really had some interest in the number 7 in here. We were talking about this. What you call it, Magève. It's a town in France, for sure.
Well, I'm going to have to look it up again after that conversation earlier on into the program. And this horse has got stakes credentials, actually won a overnight stake 3 starts ago on President's Day weekend. And this horse is your top play in the race. Now, I'm not done with Weezy Gone Gray.
Okay,
yet, okay?
Yeah, we'll get to that one.
Here, hold on. I got to make sure that everybody understands. Ronnie cashes on this horse at 50. That's right, 50-1. Comes right back and cashes again at 22-1. That's about what you'll get here this afternoon.
Yeah, and here's the horse in both those races went to the lead. Now, turning back to 7.5 furlongs today. Those races were longer.
Getting excited.
They were longer, and this horse, every one of those 2 starts looked like they were going to go by him. He was going to be last, and he just fought fought back. Can it happen 3 times? I'm not sure, but I owe this horse nothing, so I got him on my ticket. But Magev, however we're going to say this horse, we have to look it up again. The only reason I'm questioning how we say it is I watched the Tour of France, and one of the races ended in this town, and they were saying it that way. I want to go back and show you this horse's performance back on June 18th, and this was race 9. It was a turn for home, and I just thought, you see, this horse was the number 7, and just got to, had to go and was forced to go wide, turned it for home and everything, and more importantly, see, going wide here, just never got to duck out again. This horse will actually, with the screen, will disappear off the screen and then just come running back. I just thought with the level of competition here, I think this horse can run well in here. Phil Gleaves, Tyler Gaffalione, as you mentioned, a former overnight stakes winner back in February.
Yep, he is the top play in the race. You want to talk about Smorgasbord, or should we move to the finale?
Let's move to the finale.
Smorgasbord is a horse that just broke maiden, by the way, for Mike Maker. He did so impressively. We'll see if he can take that step up against winners. We'll go now to the 12th and final race, Maiden Claimers, in at the $10,000 level to close the day. It's been a tricky sledding if you've been trying to hit the super high five on the finale. You can scratch the 4 and 8 from this race. Still gives you 11 to choose from. Which one did you choose?
Well, the 8 I chose, but was scratched there, so I moved into the 5 Dancing for Dollars debut and locally after a promising 12-5 career debut in Tampa. She dueled for the lead. She finished second, beaten 3 lengths. The trainers Robert Smith, Semi Camacho in the saddle. I went to the outside with Awesome Missy. With break from the outside, she's got a trio of second-place finishes. And this is a wide-open affair. And then I looked and I said, well, I had to add a horse because of the scratch. And I went to the 7 Dungeness, who's the daughter of Graham Hall, debuting for Victor Barboza Jr. His little stat, a limited sampling. He's 4 for 13, 31% with his debut maiden claimers. And this is a perfect spot for a first-time claimer because the horse that's on top, shipping him from Tampa, lots of unknowns.
Yeah, race that the horse comes out of, lost to Gucci Girl. That was no great shakes of a race. So Dungeness is a horse that I certainly could be persuaded to have some interest in. Barboza, first time out. Sign me up for that.
Yeah, so we'll see what that first time started. And I think that might be the way to go in that race.
Well, that's a look at the Saturday program. Just 26 minutes now to the first race. I'll be back in a moment to revise the changes for you. Ron will be back before the first race. We hope you have an enjoyable afternoon with us here at Gulfstream today.